Yokoi sits next to Seki in class, and Seki is the worst at paying attention. All he does is play games while the teacher is teaching. One day during a history class, he came up with the idea to construct dominoes using his erasers. He has a lot of erasers, it's like he's been planning this for a long time. Yokoi warns him not to do it because the teacher will be mad, but Seki shushes her. The teacher yells at the distracted Yokoi to get up and read from the textbook. Seki gets startled and accidentally knocks one of the erasers on his desk, making it start the domino topple. He manages to stop it in time but glares at Yokoi for causing the accident. This scares Yokoi, but she thinks it's his fault for even playing with dominoes during class. Seki continues to set up his dominoes in such an elaborate way, which includes a box of fireworks. Yokoi tries to stop him because the fireworks will surely cause a problem with the teacher, but Seki ignores her. He topples the dominoes, and Yokoi watches intently until the last domino hits the box of fireworks. She braces herself for the fireworks to set off, but nothing happens. Seki imagines all the fireworks going off in his head, which makes Yokoi relieved. She rests her head on her desk, which makes the teacher yell at her for not wanting to be in the class. She tries to point the finger at Seki, but he quickly cleans his desk and pretends like nothing happened. Yokoi is left annoyed and in trouble with the teacher. In the next class, Seki continues to play games and Yokoi bears witness again. She watches as Seki sets up a game of Shogi. His first move makes a lot of noise that gets the teacher's attention, but he doesn't investigate it, so Seki continues. Yokoi keeps watching him and gets shocked by the outcome of the first move. The king piece is broken in half and the general piece is next to it, suggesting that the general has betrayed the king. Yokoi starts to imagine it in her head, a loyal general who has suddenly betrayed his king. Seki makes the general piece where the king's head is to show that he's now become the king. Yokoi becomes invested in a plot twist. Seki points all the other pieces at the general, making him get what he deserves. However, he presses two buttons on his desk, which makes it open a few holes underneath some pieces and swallow them. Yokoi is shocked that Seki even managed to modify his desk. He grins as he does this, embodying the spirit of the evil general. He points the remaining pieces away from the general to show fear from the king's subjects. Soon the enemy arrives and surrounds them. The evil general gets scared and runs away, leaving his subjects behind. Yokoi hates the general even more now. She watches as the subjects fall into chaos while the enemy closes in on them. As she starts to think it's over for the subjects, the king appears and saves them, but at last he falls to his death. Yokoi is so invested that she cries for the king's death. The general comes back and sullies the death, injuring Yokoi. She wants him gone, so she uses her eraser to charge at him and throw him in the classroom window. This is annoying Seki, but she pretends that she didn't just ruin his story. In the end, the king has been avenged. In the next period, Seki seems to be taking notes, which surprises Yokoi. But when she looks closer, she realizes that he's wiping his desk. He brings out an array of professional cleaning materials to properly wipe the desk clean. He puts on his mask and gloves to do a perfect job. Yokoi can't help but be intrigued as Seki fills in the scratches on his desk. He concentrates so much that the desk ends up so shiny it reflects the sun. After he sits and feels proud of his work, but he quickly gets bored, so he tries to polish Yokoi desk too. She refuses, and even when he tries to bribe her with money, he gives up and goes back to polishing his desk again, but it's not fun anymore. Yokoi feels bad for him and lends him her pencil board to polish. Seki gets back to work and even shows her his work. This makes her feel like Seki isn't so bad after all, but that changes when he gives her back the board. It has so much static electricity which travels up to her hair, making her scream. She decides to never be nice to Seki again because he will just get her into trouble. During another period, Seki brings out two wooden bowls from his bag. They contain the pieces of the game Go. Yokoi has never played Go before, so she doesn't know the rules to it. She thinks that she won't get distracted because the game is irrelevant to her, but the sound of the pieces moving catches her attention. Seki has arranged the pieces into a bear and a rabbit character. Yokoi may not know how to play Go, but she knows that's not how you play it. Seki continues and moves the pieces around to animate the characters fighting. Yokoi tries to ignore it and take notes, alternating between the board and Seki's ridiculous version of Go. She ends up drawing the characters fighting and blames Seki for it. However, she's still curious about what move he will make next. He arranges the pieces into a new character with both the white and black pieces, showing that the previous characters merge. Yokoi is amazed that the battle ended like this, and since it's over, she decides to focus on taking notes. But she can't stop being curious when Seki keeps playing, and she sees that there's a new character now. The two characters are like an original and a shadow, and they are fighting. Yokoi imagines that the shadow is evil and gets excited when the original counterattacks it. She roots for the original, but the shadow's beam and powerful punches make her lose hope. The teacher sees her distracted and yells at her to stop daydreaming. She stutters and blames Seki again. Seki has already packed up everything and pretends to be studying. She tries to prove that it was Seki's fault by showing the teacher the drawing of the characters fighting, but the drawing is on her book, so it looks like she's the one who did it. She gives up and apologizes hopelessly, making Seki win and get away with getting her into trouble again. In science class, Yokoi hopes that Seki won't distract her because science is hard. She wants to focus, but when he brings out a blade, she's curious to know what it's for. before. He uses it to carve his eraser into a stamp, which Yokoi thinks is silly. Another classmate, Uzawa, comes to sit next to the Seki, who quickly hides his stamp. Yokoi notices and realizes that Seki is secretive about his antics to other students. She becomes happy, hoping Seki will behave himself now and not distract her anymore. However, Seki continues to carve down his eraser into a seal, and Yokoi stops taking notes to marvel at his talent. He puts the eraser seal into its eraser case and is satisfied with his work. Uzawa takes notes but makes a mistake and needs an eraser. He takes the eraser that Seki is holding and uses it, and the eraser immediately breaks, which shocks both Seki and Yokoi. Uzawa throws away like it's nothing and doesn't even apologize. He finishes taking notes and leaves the classroom. Seki is devastated by the destruction of his work, while Yokoi is devastated by not concentrating in class, as now the teacher has erased the notes from the board. Both have managed to lose something today. In English class, Seki decides to play Shogi again, making Yokoi think that there won't be anything interesting, but she's surprised to see one pawn piece facing the rest. This is not how it's played, so Yokoi is interested to know what will happen. Seki brings out a princess piece that doesn't even exist in the game and puts it next to the pawn piece facing the rest as well. Yokoi. It's the idea that it's a forbidden love story where the princess is in love with the soldier against the king's approval. She wants to know what will happen next. Seki moves the other pieces towards the two lovers and attacks the pawn. Yokoi is heartbroken by the turn of events. Seki turns the two pieces around to reveal that the princess marries the soldier, even after the attack, which Yokoi finds romantic because of the princess's love for the soldier. Attacks back at the king's army, but the princess gets captured. He then drops his guard and gets punished in front of her. Yokoi can't take it anymore, so she decides to just focus on the lesson. However, she finds a fallen piece on the ground, and it's the old evil general. It's revealed that the general is the soldier's father. Yokoi imagines the general getting his sense back and going to help his son, so she tries to throw the piece back into Seki's game, but Seki stops her with his book. In art class, Seki doesn't bring his art supplies along. He plans to play miniature golf instead. He brings out the golf stick and golf ball. He uses one of the holes on the desk and plays away like he always does. Yokoi is of course distracted by it. The girl sitting behind them, Goto, who wishes to befriend Yokoi, sees the look of curiosity on her face and assumes that she has a crush on Seki. Seki aims for another hole which is next to Yokoi's hand. Yokoi is looking at him because she doubts that he'll be able to make it. Goto sees this as them being in love and looking into each other's eyes. The teacher gives the class papers on color theory and they have to pass them to the back. Just when Seki's ball is about to make it to the hole, Yokoi accidentally hits it with the papers when she was passing them to the back. The ball flies away, and when Yokoi realizes her mistake, she apologizes to Seki. Goto hears this and begins to make up stories in her head about the fight the two had without even talking to each other. Seki gives Yokoi a red pole to hold for him as he puts the ball and she reluctantly takes it. He then looks for the ball that fell earlier and Yokoi helps him look under the desk. This gives Goto a crazy idea of what they're doing under there. They don't find the ball and the mood was ruined. After class, Goto talks to Yokoi. She tells her that what she's doing with Seki in class is unacceptable. Yokoi agrees and tries to explain that Seki is distracted, unaware that she and Goto are talking about different things. Goto is shocked to hear Yokoi agreeing with her and offers her support. During maths class, Yokoi finds that she has already done the page the teacher is working on in cram school. She doesn't want to do it again, so she wants something else to work on. When Seki brings out a miniature teddy bear, she happily decides to sit back and watch him play. He sets up a cam for the bear and gives it binoculars and a backpack. Yokoi approves of this. If Seki played with something this cute every day, she even joined him. Seki focuses intensely on the upper head. Yokoi notices that he's looking at another miniature teddy bear on another classmate Maida's back. Yokoi asks Seki to remove the bear from Maida's back, but she notices it's starting to climb up. It's attached to a string in a clip which is attached to Maida's collar. Seki has to pull the string very gently so as not to alert Maida of what's happening, but suddenly Maida angrily erases something off his book which makes Yokoi and Seki freeze. His violent shaking makes the bear come off his back but get attached again, which is a relief to Yokoi and Seki. The bear continues to climb up but gets stuck below the collar. Seki can't seem to pull it up properly, making the situation suspenseful. He made a shift a little to scratch his neck, which helps the bear manage to reach the collar and make it to the top. Seki and Yokoi rejoice for the bear's victory, but Maida suddenly moves and shakes the bear off his neck and out the window. Luckily, the string is still attached to it, so Seki retrieves it safely. He tries to attach it again, but Maida turns around angrily and glares at him. When he turns away, Seki tries to attach the bear again, but Maida turns back to glare at him again, which scares both of them until they stop. In another math period, Seki brings out his toy car and its controller. controller. He continues to study some papers, which surprises Yokoi because he's not touching the toy yet. When she looks closer at the papers, she sees that they are about traffic laws. After Seki sets up roads and signs for a driving school, he starts controlling the car driving and following all the traffic laws and driving instructions. He takes it seriously, which makes even Yokoi think it's not fun. He's so serious that when he gets to an uphill slope, he flips the car and gets depressed. Yokoi doesn't understand. She thinks that he can just try again, but the instructions state that he can only take the test once a day. So if he tries the next day, he gets to the slope and finally crosses over. He gets his driver's license, which makes him so happy, he raises his hand in the air. Yokoi thinks it's cute to have a license even if it's fake. She also wants one for herself. The teacher sees Seki's hand up and calls him to the front to solve a problem. Seki doesn't know the answer, and once Yokoi tells him she refuses, but he bribes her with a fake license. She agrees, so he gives her the controller for the car to take the test. She remembers all the meticulous rules he followed before he got his own license and refuses to do it. This leaves Seki to solve the problem on his own. During the audiovisual class, Seki plays Shogi again, but he includes chess pieces this time. While Yokoi is still wondering how that will work, the lights turn off so that the class can watch a DVD. Seki doesn't stop playing and Yokoi is curious to see how he'll do it in the dark. She sees how the shogi pieces have left the board as the chess pieces are taken over. She thinks it's because the chess pieces are assassins who use the darkness of the night to conceal their presences and attack the shogi of warriors. Yokoi wants to help the shogi of warriors by attacking the chess assassins with her eraser, but it's too dark she can't see them. She almost gives up, but she sees the shogi pieces on the floor and puts them back on the board without Seki seeing her. This scares him because his chess pieces were winning. He knocks off the shogi pieces again, but they reappear, which terrifies him and amuses Yokoi. He decides to stop playing and starts praying. Yokoi is satisfied with this outcome. She tries going back to her chair but finds that her skirt is caught under Seki's chair. She panics because she'll be found out and get in trouble. Yokoi thinks winning the shogi warriors wasn't such a good idea. After all, Seki plays Fukuwarai on a different day, a game where you place facial features on a paper doll while blindfolded. He makes a mistake, which makes Yokoi laugh and almost gets her into trouble with the teacher, but he ends up getting it right, which surprises her. He gives the doll a family and makes the baby grow older each time. Yokoi finds this very cute as the parents raise their son, but soon she realizes that the parents are becoming more distant as the son grows. The son ends up going the wrong path because of this, making Yokoi start to worry. She wants to save him, so she tries to blow the parents back together, but ends up blowing on Seki's hand. He takes off his blindfold in a panic, but he doesn't see who did that because Yokoi turned away immediately. After she looks over again, she sees that the parents are closer together now, which makes her happy that the son will become a better man. During history class, the teacher gives them some handouts to refer to. The handouts end up not being enough, so some of the students must share them. Seki and Yokoi are sharing a copy too, so they put their desks together. Seki is annoyed because his bag is stuck between the two desks and he can't access his toys. Yokoi realized this and laughed at him, but he took out a deck of cards from his pencil case and started showing her some tricks. Yokoi tries to ignore him, but he keeps trying to impress her with the tricks. He shows her an ace of diamonds and she finds it inside the handout pages, which slightly impresses her, but she refuses to show it because she doesn't want to give him the satisfaction. She crumples it up in annoyance. The teacher asks Maeda to read from a textbook, and when he gets up, the card is miraculously stuck on him. Yokoi starts to wonder how Seki did that. She's clearly impressed, but still refuses to give in to his smile. She thinks she must have had two aces of diamonds all along, because her crumpled up card is still on the table. But Seki turns around to show that it's not an ace of diamonds anymore. He pulls the ace from his mouth. She checks Maeda and finds that the card is no longer on him. Now she can't hide being impressed. Seki wins. In biology class, Seki wears glasses, making Yokoi curious as always. She thinks that he's going to study and maybe needs the glasses to see the board, but he brings out a mirror to see if the glasses look good on him. He brings out other pairs of glasses to try on. She tries to ignore him, however she can't help but watch him. She wants to see which glasses look good on him too. He tries ones that she thinks are cute, but he takes them off and tries other ones, annoying her. She glares at him when he tries to pick the wrong ones and makes a scary noise to make him pick the ones she likes. She becomes happy when he finally picks the right ones, making her feel like she helped in an important decision. But in the next few days, he doesn't wear the glasses, making her feel stupid. In today's class, Seki plays with a flipbook. Yokoi wonders about his drawings and looks his way. She sees that under the drawings, Seki has written some words. Now she wonders about the words, their lyrics to a song that she has written over and over. She tries to look away because it's too interesting and will distract her. Seki brings out a recorder and records his voice while he flips the book like an anime voiceover. Yokoi can't take her eyes off this, wondering what will happen next. Seki stops after he's satisfied, leaving Yokoi and more curious. So during break time, Yokoi goes through Seki's bag, looking for the flipbook and recording. She finds them and plays them. She hears Seki's voice, but he's only making sound effects for his drawings. A song plays, after which goes along with the lyrics he wrote. At the end of the animation, another voice does an advert for a model shop. Yokoi realized that Seki was making a commercial all along, and Yoon got the owner of the model shop to do a voiceover. One day, Yokoi gets called to the teacher's office because she seemed distracted during class. She denies this because she wants to get Seki in trouble to avoid awkwardness between them during class. She overhears the other teachers talking about a bag inspection that will happen soon, and she knows that Seki will get in trouble for his toys, but if the toys are confiscated, he'll no longer disturb her, so she looks forward to it. When class starts, Seki plays with a robot toy family which Yokoi finds lovely. She doesn't want the teacher to confiscate these toys and feels bad. The teacher announced that the bag inspection and Seki and Yokoi are put on edge. Yokoi warns Seki to hide the toys quickly, and he hides 2 of them inside his lunchbox, while Yokoi continues to panic. He hides the last one behind himself on his chair. The teacher goes through his bag and doesn't find anything. When he comes to Yokoi, he finds a CD in her bag. She forgot to hide it because she was busy worrying about the robot family. Seki is amused by this irritating Yokoi. The teacher asks her if there's anything wrong, and she accidentally blurts out the family referring to the robot family. The teacher starts to think that her family is having problems, but Yokoi denies this. He confiscates the CD and asks the students to write apology letters. Later at night, Yokoi's mom tells her that the teacher called and wants to pay them a visit. She asks if something is wrong at school, and Yokoi realizes how much trouble Seki has caused her again. This brings us to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you can get more videos like this.